The DA in Gauteng is concerned that a sinkhole at Khutsong High School may result in a number of dropouts. The party says a sinkhole swallowed parts of Relebogile Secondary School in February, leaving pupils stranded. The department denied the allegations, claiming it had found alternative schools for the affected pupils. For more on this, we are joined by DA Gauteng Education spokesperson Khume Ramulifho. Very good afternoon, sir. Can you provide more details about the sinkhole incident?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, we were made to be aware that there's a sinkhole somewhere around February the 9th this year. And then I referred the matter personally to the MEC about the problem. And we then asked that he, task a team to go and look at whether the damage is it's huge, whether to a point where it can require the closure of the school. So we thought, like, after the geoscientists have gone to the school, they would probably provide a report which can give us information of what needs to be done going forward. But we said, in the meantime, because learners are not going to be at school, can you provide alternative accommodation where learning and teaching will continue? And they made a commitment that that is what they're going to do. We thought that is what was the case until when we visited the school on Thursday. We then realized that there's no learning and teaching taking place. Learners are sitting at home on a daily basis from the 9th of February. And we're very worried that, based on the alarming number of learners who are dropping out of the schooling system, we have just observed that in Gauteng, about 110,000 learners drop out in 2022. This is going to probably lead to another, grade 1 to grade 12 learners dropping out of the system. And what concerns us is that we do have resources. There's no reason why we could not provide alternative accommodations so learning and teaching is taking place. So just the department is not really applying its mind, or there's no sense of urgency, probably because the area seems to be like in the peripheral of the province, which is a huge concern on our side. That's why we're making a call to say, can South African Human Rights Commission also intervene in this case? Because we believe what the department is doing, they are denying learners basic access to education, which is their constitutional right.
Khume, how many learners are impacted? And just give us some indication into the nature of the sinkhole. Obviously, you've visited the school. What was the report that was sent through, and can it be rehabilitated?
The number of learners at the school, they're about 1,200. The extent of the problem, obviously, we just took pictures without really having an inside info, because we prefer that professionals should be the one to give us, the nature of the problem. But from a distance, when you take pictures, you can see that how the building was constructed without reinforce. It's a question, because you can see that it's about 15 meters of a hole which has emerged at the school. So we just said we must be cautious that we should not risk and have learners going back without a report. So the department has not provided a report. But yesterday, some school governing body members alerted us that the department sent geoscientists who came to the school to do inspection. But though we're saying it's a bit very late, they should have done that, the moment when the problem is okay. But we do appreciate and we hope that they're going to speed up the process and we get the report whether they continue learning and teaching at the same facility, or the one which has been identified as alternative that they need to complete with agency, so that at least by next week, all learners need to get back to school, so that at least they are not deprived of opportunity to compete with other learners.
Now, you mentioned the high number of dropouts in Gauteng. Can you give us an indication of what are some of the major factors that contribute to learners dropping out of school?
We have also a poor quality of our infrastructure, where some of the schools, they are aging or deteriorated and overcrowding to a point where teachers could not even know how many learners do they have in class, and lack of, societal involvement. Because especially when you look at kids between the age of 6 and 15, who we can't even claim that they are employed somewhere else when they are not in class. And the department have no any plans in terms of tracking these learners. They just make assumptions that these learners might be somewhere else, and we're saying that's not enough. You have got a responsibility to ensure that all learners of school-going age, which in this case we believe these are children which you need to take care of. You need to find a mechanism of how do we track and ensure that if they are not at school within a week, we need to establish where they are, try to contact their parents or their relatives, and do follow up and see why they're not coming back to school, The moment we establish the reasons, we'll be able to deal with the problem. But at this point of time, the department is folding its arms and saying, no, we don't care. We'll just give you a state at the end of the year. And we believe that is not enough. So we believe that we need to fix our infrastructure. We have noticed that in a number of our schools, infrastructure is not up to standard, which also creates a huge problem when it comes to learning and teaching. We believe that is a primary cause of, dropouts. Because at first we thought the issue of absenteeism is as a result of lack of, scholar transport, lack of nutrition. But those things are now provided in our schools. It's just the infrastructure which is not conducive. And we believe that that's where we need to ensure that we prioritize and ensure we don't even waste any resources. We need to make sure that we don't waste that. And as we observed, we said the department must stop, focusing on something which is not really core mandate of the department, like, your litigation cases where we spend more than 80 million rather than, trying to create sporting facilities, science labs. So those are type of things which we really need in our schools so that we provide our learners with basic skills rather than fighting or prioritizing things which are not really helpful to our learners.
Khume Ramulifho is the DA Gauteng Education spokesperson. Appreciate your time this afternoon.